Hello everyone. So what are elemental spiritual forces? Colossians 2 verse 8 warns us, "See to it that no one takes you captive through hollow and deceptive philosophy which depends on human tradition and the elemental spiritual forces of this world rather than on Christ." So what does elemental spiritual forces mean? Well, the Greek term here is stakia to kosmou. That word stakia can refer to several things depending on the context. It can mean basic principles, elementary teachings, or even spiritual powers. Paul uses it a few times in his letters, and it's one of those layered phrases that has both natural and supernatural meaning. Here in Colossians, Paul seems to be addressing false teachings that were creeping into the church. Teachings that combined Jewish legalism, Greek philosophy, and maybe even some mystical or ascetic practices. So when he says elemental spiritual forces, he's likely pointing to the basic worldly patterns of thinking, like rule keeping, self-denial for the sake of pride, or man-made systems of earning favor with God. Stoicism also taught that virtue is the highest good and that by mastering one's emotions and desires, a person could live in harmony with nature. This sounds noble, but it's based on self-effort, not grace. Paul quite rightly sees that as incompatible with the gospel. But there's also a darker layer. In Galatians 4:3 and 4:9, Paul uses the same phrase to describe spiritual powers that once enslaved people before Christ. In that sense, elemental spiritual forces could also mean demonic influences or spiritual systems that work in the world that draw people away from dependence on Christ. So, putting it together, Paul is warning not to get trapped by religious rules, clever sounding philosophies, or anything rooted in the world's way of thinking, even if it sounds spiritual. If it doesn't rest fully on Christ, it's empty. And worse, it could be part of a deeper system of spiritual deception. In this verse, Paul is reminding the Colossians and us that Christ isn't just part of your foundation, he is the whole thing. Anything else, no matter how ancient or how deep it sounds, is hollow without him. Thank you for listening, and please subscribe to help me spread the truth of Jesus Christ. Thank you.